to move on to the politics because here in India, viewers, as you know, and let's move on to that story. The Congress party has been slamming India's silence, diplomatic silence on what? On the killing of Khamenei. And Sonia Gandhi has written an article today that has appeared in some newspapers accusing the Prime Minister of abdication. She's come out and said, government silence over Khamenei is not equal to neutrality. Silence is an abdication of principles, in a sense of morality. India cannot remain a mute spectator. Traditional foreign policy values have been ignored. Now, viewers, the BJP has come out, and let's put out that graphic also for you to see. The BJP has come out and said that the Congress was silent, for example, when Gaddafi was killed in 2011. So why are they lecturing us? They also put the national interest first. They took a calculated decision not to sit there and condemn the West or the others who decided to overthrow Muammar Gaddafi. They didn't condole or condemn Gaddafi's hanging. UPA was mum on Saddam Hussein's hanging also. Selective memory and selective outrage are not entirely strong and sustainable arguments. So this is what has been said. So let's open this up because we have with us Sanjay Jha, and I want to bring him into this conversation. Sanjay Jha, it's a bit rich for the Congress party to be sitting here and lecturing Prime Minister Modi on morality and pointing out that he has acted against principles when, for example, the Congress party, if you even go back into the past and you look at its own stand against China, when China was out expanding its sphere of influence, grabbing other countries, taking over territories, back in the day, they didn't say much. They didn't say anything when you had a situation where Gaddafi was toppled or where Saddam Hussein was toppled. And there are several other examples of the Iranians not being real friends of India either. In fact, you even took positions against the Iranians in the United Nations. So what are we talking about here?
Rahul, good evening to you and to Anand as well. Let's try and have a serious debate, hopefully no interruptions. I want to make a couple of points very succinctly because I'm assuming the viewers will have known by now what is really going on. Point number one, Narendra Modi, and I say so with full responsibility as the Prime Minister of this country, has abdicated strategic autonomy and has actually become part of the US-Israel axis. India is playing footsie with two powers, one run by a sexual predator, the other by a man accused of genocide, and we are playing footsie. He was there in Tel Aviv, in Parliament, and the silence of Narendra Modi's government on the assassination of Ayatollah Khamenei is basically a statement being made by India that we will not issue a press release of even condolence, forget condemnation, unless we get approval from Tel Aviv or Washington. And are we approving a political assassination of a head of state? Is that how low India has become in terms of its global stature, that we are kosher? We are not going to say a word on the assassination of a head of state in Iran? Are we serious here? Point number two, and this cannot be ignored, that end of day, everybody knows that Iran attack by the Americans and by the Israelis happened when the negotiations were on. So this is obviously nothing to do with the regime change. And by the way, who is America to do regime change? Can they just do a Venezuela whenever they want? Trump is threatening Greenland. I mean, he's threatening Canada. I mean, he can't run his own country today, and he's talking of regime change. Okay. And you have Israel, which basically doesn't even believe in the two-state solution, wanting regime change. Basically, this is nothing but an attempt on Epstein file. This is an Epstein file story.
Okay, well, one second. You know, Sanjay Jha, perfectly okay. I mean, look, you're entitled to your views. But let me also tell you that on the other side was Hamas that actually didn't believe in a two-state solution. Hamas' first resolution If you read their manifesto, their first one said that we want to cleanse the land from the sea to the river. And then they made a modification to that initial resolution because the United Nations latched on to it. But they continued, viewers, to carry out terror attacks. Now, I'm not getting into the specifics there because that doesn't involve us. My point is, and I want to bring in Dr. Anand Ranganathan to respond. Sanjay Jha says, and there is truth to what is being said here to some extent, that we cannot allow America or anyone to carry out regime change operations whenever they think it is okay for them to do so. So there is that point. At what point does India say, hang on, Trump, you can't be doing this? Or should we be saying it at all?
Rahul, when has India not or stepped in to not allow America orchestrate a regime change in the last 80 years? Give me one instance. America has orchestrated perhaps 17 or 18 regime changes. Has India stepped in and said, we are not going to allow you to do that? So that's point number one. Point number two, Sanjay did not answer your blunt questions. That is, if BJP has not expressed condolences at the passing away of a dictator, the Congress also did not express condolences at the passing away of Gaddafi and Saddam. In fact, I supported Congress, and I support Congress for not expressing condolences at the killing of dictators, even though those two dictators were quite friendly with India, even though this one, Khamenei, was, calling India an oppressor state and talking about all nonsense that India and Hindu state is massacring Muslims. That's point number two. Point number three is we have to look after our interests. It is not our war. It is a war of Israel with Iran. Now, I ask a very simple question. Is an Pakistani leader, for example, I just give you one very simple example. When people say, Rahul Gandhi say, we must express condolences, he was not a legitimate target, Khamenei. Simple question. I want to reduce it to a simple question. Would a Pakistani leader who is commander-in-chief of his armed forces that attack India directly or indirectly all the time, who stocks nuclear arms and enriches uranium clandestinely, who calls India a cancer and vows that he will wipe India off the map, who trains and supports and funds multiple terror organizations, who arms and sends hordes of terrorists to India to kill thousands of innocents. Would such a leader be a legitimate target for India? Now replace Pakistan with Iran and India with Israel. What's your answer? If in a war between Israel and Iran, wasn't this guy a legitimate target? Any commonsensical person would say, yes, he was, just like any Pakistani leader who would be doing exactly what Khamenei was doing to Israel. Any Pakistani leader does that to India, we would treat him as a legitimate target. So I don't know where this irrationality springs in. There is only one reason for it to spring in. Vote bank politics and shameless appeasement.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, yes. Look,
yeah.
if Israel is being attacked by proxies that are sponsored by Iran, and it's just not Israel, there are other Gulf nations too that are bled by Iran and its proxies. If they are to legitimately say that, look, we're not going to deal with this. This guy, he spilled enough Israeli blood or Syrian blood or Iraqi blood or what have you, the time has come when we take him out. Would you support that, yes or no? Would you support, for example, an Indian Prime Minister who decided to take out Shehbaz Sharif?
Well, let me tell you one thing, Rahul, that it is a tragedy that Narendra Modi has become so weak.
But you're not answering the question. You can attack Modi as much as you want, but please answer the question. I want to ask you, where was the Congress's high principle when Gaddafi was pulled out of a pipe and beaten and toppled? Where was the Congress when Saddam Hussein was plucked out of a hole in the ground and hung within days? Where was you? Where was your morality then? Just a simple, straightforward question. Should you have spoken then or not?
Yeah, Rahul, but Anand has said many things that need to be.
No, I'm
rebutted
asking you
within
this
an
question because I
absolute
began
frame.
my interview with
Well,
you on that question.
Let me answer,
Would you? I'll
you.
ask you another question. The
How many
Taliban,
times-
the
why are
Taliban.
you
Excuse me,
wasting
one
time?
second. I'll ask you
Okay.
another question. The
Yeah.
Taliban captured an Indian aircraft called IC-814.
Yeah.
The Taliban executed a few people on that particular plane. The Americans go in and take out the Taliban. Just asking you, sir, would you have supported the American action back then when they took out the Taliban, yes or no? That was also regime change.
Now, if you don't interrupt me, I'll answer your questions very quickly. It is a false propaganda by the BJP.
What?
Please go down, do an internet search. I have already done it. Enough leaders from the Congress party condemned what happened in Libya with Gaddafi.
Did
or
the
what
Indian
happened
government,
with
did
Iraq.
the
One
Indian
minute,
government,
just do your
compare
research.
apples with
Do your
apples,
research.
compare
Anyway.
apples with apples.
Yeah.
Did the
Yeah.
Indian government take a position? The Prime Minister of India
Yes.
is the head of the executive. Show me a statement from the Indian government saying we condemn what has happened with Gaddafi. Just show it to me. We
Well, let me
condemn
tell
the
you.
United States. We condemn external intervention in Libya. Just show me that statement, sir.
Yeah, I'm just answering you.
that-
Dr. Manmohan Singh as a prime minister was not so weak, fragile, and spineless as to be quiet when Saddam Hussein was hung or when Gaddafi was killed. Go
Show
and read
me.
the statements.
Show me the proof.
Point number two.
Rahul, can you
one
read
minute,
this?
1 minute.
I
Point
can't.
number
I
two,
can't
very
actually. When
important.
Manmohan Singh's
Can I
people,
speak?
something of India, I don't know. Could you
here
read
is the
this?
same- here is the
Can I
same
speak
Manmohan
for a
Singh
minute?
Yeah.
who
Can I
said to
speak or are
George
you giving
Bush,
this entire
Yes.
who
platform
killed
to Anand
1
Ranganathan?
million Muslims.
Is this going to be a
Here
fair
is
debate or
Manmohan
an
Singh who
unfair
said,
debate?
Mr. Bush, people of India deeply love you.
That's
This
got
was
nothing to do with
after
this, by
Bush
the
had
way.
massacred 1 million Muslims.
Arey bhaiya, he never said ab ki baar Trump sarkar. Don't get into that poor level of debate.
I mean, look at this.
Apna banda
I mean,
to
look
ab
at
ki
this.
baar Trump sarkar
That
bol
is
raha
also
tha.
fake
Anyway,
news.
Rahul, can I answer your question?
Yeah, of course.
The truth is that Anand Ranganathan, he's a dear friend of mine. He's obviously being very disingenuous with facts.
No,
which
I
is
want you
okay,
to show
because he
me a
has to defend
statement
Modi.
by the government
1
of
minute.
India, sir. Why are we beating around the bush?
He calls Ayatollah Khamenei a dictator, but he's not willing to call Netanyahu as a genocide man. He's
No,
not
no, hang
willing
on,
to
just
call
a
him
minute.
out for war of,
What is that? Hang
war
on, just a
of-
minute.
war
No,
against
hang on. Now that's what.
humanity.
No,
He's
hang
not
on, hang
willing
on,
to
hang
say
on.
that.
We are talking about. No, hang on, just a minute.
Unbelievable.
Listen, if Netanyahu thinks that he can attack Iran because the leadership in Iran is hurting the sovereignty of his country, what does it matter if Netanyahu is a war criminal or not? He is doing what he wants to
No,
do
the
to
tragedy is
defend his
India,
country's
boss.
interests, and he's been elected by his people to do that. And
Yeah, but-
the
but
opposition,
why
hang on,
is
the
India's
opposition in
Prime
Israel, one
Minister-
second, sir, the opposition in Israel, please, let me allow you. Unlike in India, the opposition in Israel is supporting Netanyahu today on conducting the operation to decapitate Khomeini. So let me just put that down on the record. But that apart, I want to come out to you again and ask you, sir, please answer this question. Show me the statement by the Indian government. Give me the date, the time when this statement was made by the UPA government, I said, in support of Gaddafi. Show it to me.
Okay. So, I mean, you want me to do it right now on your screen?
Well, you
or
should
what?
have, sir.
Well. Here is the point. Here is the point, ladies and gentlemen, watching the program. Mr. Modi is backing
Again, Mr.
America
Modi?
and Israel
Show
at
me
a
the
time
statement.
when abandoning India's sovereignty, abandoning India's independence, abandoning the strategy of actually multi-alignment, and becoming part of the most dubious, discredited axis where the two leaders one is in the Epstein file and the other one monitors the
all is
Epstein
fine.
file.
All is
What a
that
shame.
all you can
What a
say
shame.
all of that. You haven't answered the single question I posed.
I have.
You are lecturing
It's
Modi,
on record.
but you have done exactly what Modi has done. That I find hypocritical. That is what I began by asking.
In any case, that is not even relevant.
Has Sonia? No, it's very, very relevant. Has Sonia acted? Then is she guilty of hypocrisy?
Because this current
Is she
US
guilty of-
president is a sexual predator.
Okay. Now,
The
sexual
Israeli
predator,
Prime Minister
this
is a
predator,
genocide
that
man.
predator,
He's got an
a
arrest
genocide
warrant
man.
against him.
Fair enough,
It's a
sir.
serious issue.
I just want to bring in Dr. Ranganathan one last time, and then we wrap this up.
No, it's very simple. This is not
It's a
our
CIA
war.
Mossad war.
Now, please,
And India is
Sanjay, I
playing
didn't interrupt
Bigby and
you.
footsie like a weak power.
Sanjay, please. Sanjay, please. You already have not answered 5 questions. Let you not answer 6th one also. Look,
No, don't
the
worry, I
simple
have
fact
answered
is-
everything.
No, you have not.
You
have
answered
not-
by evasion. But anyhow, go ahead.
Yeah. This is not our war. Israel has a moral argument in its favor to go after Iran. Because if Iran goes nuclear, the first thing they would do is to bomb the living daylights out of Israel and try and
I just want to put one other fact down on the table, viewers. Just 1 minute. I just want to put down one more fact. And let me be extremely, this is the hard facts, this is what the show is called. How many Muslim nations have come out and condemned America for taking out Khamenei? Do you know how many viewers? One sec. All Muslim countries are vassals of America. Now that's the response. It doesn't matter to me, sir. I'm only asking a question. All Muslim countries are vassals. Viewers, 8 countries around the world, excuse me, don't shout. Please, don't shout over me. Only 8 countries in the world have taken that position.
Out of 50.
Only 8. And if you are talking about these countries being really morally enlightened, I'm talking about 2, Russia and China. Both are headed by authoritarian regimes. So viewers, they are doing so because they have a vested interest. We don't have a vested interest. Our vested interest, if there is one at all, lies in the Gulf, where we get a 40% market for our exports and we bring in 40% of our oil. That's where our loyalty should lie. Not with some guy who was mass murdering his people and sponsoring terror.
Are you talking of Netanyahu?
I'm talking about, sir, very, very simply, the man who is 6 feet under today in a bunker somewhere, fried to a toast called Khamenei. It's very simple.
And Netanyahu is a saint.
And I will leave it at this, viewers. I will leave it at this. I will leave it to this. We can have our discussions about who's a genocidal maniac and who's not, and we can accept Netanyahu as one and all of that, viewers. But tomorrow people can say that so was Bush. So was Obama. And so was, by the way, viewers, the hero of the Second World War for most of the West, a man called Churchill. Many people could say the same. Where are we going to stop with the labels? I leave it at this, viewers.